Okay, second half of this. All right, so we figured the is over of. You were supposed to multiply 100 times 10,000 divided by 1. And you should have gotten 1 and then 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that tells us that $10,000 is 1% of $1 million. So that means this amount was $1 million. Well, if whatever this was, whatever this was, I subtracted 50. So this had to have been $51 million. Well, right before I got to there, I divided it by 2. So let's multiply it by 2 to see what we get. Times 2, and you get, I could have done that in my head. Okay, so you get 102, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 102 million. And before we got there, we took away 5 million. So let's add that 5 million back in. So I think the answer is 107 million. But remember, does it make sense that he would start with $107 million? Okay, sort of. We're not really sure. What we could do is go ahead and check it with our calculator. So take your calculator, and if we do all of these things, we should come up with the right answer. So take 107 million, subtract 5 million, divide it by 2, subtract 50 million, and you should get $1 million. Does it come out on yours? Excellent. So $1 million, we get 1% is $10,000. So what we did here is we worked out all of the information, drew a diagram, a little bit of algebra in there as well, and then we worked backwards. Instead of subtracting 50 million, we added. Instead of dividing by 2, we multiplied by 2. And instead of subtracting 5, we added 5 to get back to the beginning. All right, so that answers the first question. How much was his? $107 million. I wouldn't know what to do with that. All right, who receives the most money and how much will the inheritor receive? Okay, well, the dog got 5 million. Let's see, who got the second part? Half goes to the algebra teacher. So it started with 107 million. I subtracted 5 and got 102. I gave half of that away, so that's 50. Half of that's 51 million. So the algebra teacher got 51 million. All right, then 50 million went to the hospital, so the hospital got 50 million. And what's left, the family, the whole family got $1 million. So who got the most? The person who should. $51 million to the algebra teacher. Thank you very much. All right. What are some of the ways that you use the mathematical problem-solving routine and metacognitive strategies, plan, monitor, evaluate, and loop back when you worked on this problem? Well, take a look at what we did. We read for understanding. We picked out the words we didn't know and took some notes. So we read for understanding. Sorry about my handwriting. We monitored as we went along. We double checked. We went back. I thought right about here, I'm like, okay. And then when we got 1 million, I'm like, all right, well, that makes sense because there's still enough money to go around for each of the teachers. We evaluated when we got $1 million here. We worked all the way back up to 107 million, but before just circling an answer and running off to the next question, we thought, well, wait a minute, let's double check. 107 million minus 5 is 102. 102 divided by 2 is 51. 51 minus 50 gives you 1 million. 1% of 1 million is 10,000. So it works out all the way through. So we read for understanding, we evaluated, we checked our answer, and we got it right. Is this problem similar to a problem that you have solved before? If so, name the problem. Wait, I don't think we've done anything like this. That was a pretty intense one, so I'd go ahead and say no. All right, let's take a quick look at your staying sharp while we're here. Lewis has 2 cars, his minivan, so let's draw a quick minivan. My first car was a minivan, by the way. Minivan, lots of people. There's me. Hi. Okay, gets 18 miles to the gallon. His compact car, let's say he drives a Prius or whatever those little cars are, gets 24 miles to the gallon. So every gallon that you use up, you can go 24 miles in the little car. You can only go 18 in the minivan. How many gallons of gasoline will he save if he travels 216 miles? Well, figure out the total gas, the total gallons that he's going to need in the minivan. Figure out the total gallons he's going to need in the compact, and then subtract them. And that's how much he's going to save. All right, to get ready for a field trip, students and adults are put into groups. For every 12 students in a group, there are 2 adults. If there are, okay, see these keywords, for every, blah, 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 there are. So for every blank, there are blank. When you see those, let's set up a proportion, which is basically a ratio equal to another ratio. So if you have put students over adults and students over adults. Now there's 4 pieces to this puzzle. You should be able to plug in 3 pieces of this puzzle from here. The 4th piece is what you're looking for. You're going to cross multiply and then divide to get to the answer. This one's just interpreting English to algebraish, finding a pattern. You guys are good. I'll see you tomorrow.